All right, today we're diving into something pretty intense. This isn't just telling a story, it's more like we're dissecting a soul's rebellion. We're going on a journey, from the silent obedience of a masked citizen all the way to the fierce freedom of a sovereign individual. So let's explore how this profound transformation actually unfolds.
Our journey kicks off right here, with this really unsettling truth. The traveler isn't even in the driver's seat. They're basically a guest in their own mind. A puppet, really, with every move dictated by societal scripts and convictions that honestly have lost their meaning. This is the very definition of confinement.
So where does this all happen? Where does this confinement take place? In a realm called the City of Glass. You can think of it like a fortress of the mind. This is the first stage of our journey, a world built on sterile logic and the crushing weight of other people's expectations.
Now let's be clear, this city isn't a physical place. It's a theatrical stage for our rigid superego, that internal critic that's always demanding we conform. In this place, your identity is nothing more than a social costume, one you wear for the cold approval of a judge who feels like they're everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Let's actually break down the psychology of this mental prison. You've got the ego, our conscious self, frantically decorating the halls to try and drown out all those unwelcome whispers from below. And what's lurking down there? That's the id, our primal, repressed desires, just thrumming under the floorboards. And watching over it all is the superego, our silent internal judge, making sure our morality stays like a stagnant, lifeless pond. It's a perfectly balanced cage.
And this right here illustrates the core conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got that stagnant pond of morality that the city demands. It's safe, yeah, predictable, but it's also dead. On the other side is the soul's true potential, a rushing, violent river of its own singular will. The entire journey is about bridging that gap.
But every stagnant world is bound to be disrupted eventually, and here, that disruption arrives in the form of a shadowy figure, the honest guest, who just appears at the threshold, ready to shatter this fragile peace.
So the honest guest isn't really a person, it's more of a force. It's described as the death drive made manifest. That's the deep part of us that craves disruption and truth. It uses what's called the geometry of the grotesque, satire, absurdity, uncomfortable truths, to basically rip the blindfold right off the traveler's eyes.
I've got to say, I love this metaphor. The honest guest is the ultimate irritant in the oyster. It's a painful, unwelcome intrusion for sure. But without that friction, that irritation, the traveler could never create the dark and jagged pearl, that new, authentic self that's forged only when our defenses start to dissolve.
And so, the guest presents this life-altering choice. Do you cling to the hollow masquerade of the City of Glass, staying safe but soulless? Or do you take the terrifying plunge into the uncanny forest to confront an unflinching, absolute truth?
Faced with this monumental choice, the traveler rejects the masquerade. They turn their back on that crystalline city and plunge headfirst into the chaotic wilderness of their own inner world, the uncanny forest. And this is no longer some abstract, intellectual journey. The uncanny forest is a labyrinth of the body. It's a visceral, physical descent. The traveler is no longer just in their mind, they are navigating the very gut of their own being. And just check out this imagery. Bronchial hanging vines, serving as conduits for the dark energy of the deep. This is the realm of the repressed id we talked about. Primal energies are in charge here, not sterile logic. It's a wilderness of the psyche, a temple made of living stone. The first major challenge in this forest is a confrontation with the self. The daemon is basically a mirror, forcing the traveler to confront their own ignored hypocrisy, all those uncomfortable truths they tried so hard to bury back in the City of Glass.
After the daemon comes the ultimate trial, a confrontation with the jester. This is where the real deconstruction begins. High above, a hollow sun shines down a cold light, like a psychic scalpel, peeling back the ego. And to look into the jester's eyes, well, it's to endure the agony of 10,000 hells, a crucible where every single self-deception is burned to absolute ash. It's terrifying, but completely necessary.
So, after being completely broken down by the forest and the jester, the spirit is now ready to be reforged.
This is the climax of the entire journey, the three metamorphoses, the forging of a new soul.
So here it is, the path to rebirth. It's a three-step process, moving from a burdened spirit to a pure creator. First, the camel, who carries the weight of the world. Second, the lion, who roars a sacred no to the old ways. And finally, the child, who creates a new world with a sacred yes. And just feel the radical shift in energy here. The camel is all about passive acceptance, just bearing the heavy iron of existence without a single complaint. But the lion is pure rebellion. It takes a sledgehammer to all the hollow values of the city of glass. It's the leap from just enduring to actively destroying.
And after the lion clears the path, the child emerges. The child is described as a self-propelled wheel, a force of pure creation. It's not reacting against the old world anymore. It's building new, authentic values from a clean slate, from scratch. This is the goal.
So what emerges from this whole crucible? The traveler's final form. A new state of being. The sovereign of the soil. They are no longer a reflection of others, but a self-guided shadow, moving with their own purpose, anchored to their own truth. This new being is no longer a beggar looking to the sky for meaning. That need for external validation is gone. Instead, they are a holy fool, totally self-possessed, dancing on the edge of a volcano, embracing danger and reality with joy. They're anchored to the soil, to what is real, not to some distant hope. And this really hammers home the core lesson of the entire journey. Destruction is the highest form of creation for a truly independent soul. In other words, to build something new and authentic, you absolutely must first have the courage to tear down the old, the false, and the hollow. And with that, the journey is complete. The old world is gone. The shattered remains of old masks lie beneath their feet like shards of a broken sun. It's such a powerful image of a total and complete break from that person who lived as a guest in the city of glass. Which brings us to a final, provocative thought. I mean, we all wear masks, right? We all live in our own cities of glass. So the question this journey leaves us with is this. If your mask shattered, who would be underneath?